Bienvenidos to another show of Cafecito with Rosie on air, live to you from 24M Studios in downtown Tampa. Sergio and Andy, you rock. My show is about inviting business owners, friends of mine, that they are going to share what makes them successful. And success for everybody is different. But today, I am so excited to bring my sibling in the Leadership Tampa Bay family, Valerie Ellis, to talk to us about her journey. Hello, Valerie. How are you?
Fine. Thank you. How are you doing?
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your service. Tell me a little bit about who you are, what you do, and how you help the community.
Well, I was in the Army. I retired after nearly 22 years, 10 years ago. I can't believe it's been 10 years. Since then, I've started a couple of companies. I have become an entrepreneur. Several, they were not successful.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
failed miserably. But Luminary, I run with my husband, and we sell emergency and trauma kits, military tactical gear, and prepper items. Our customers are everybody from the household with families to first responders, military, and preppers. We sell both or to all three sectors. Consumers buy directly from us, businesses buy directly from us, as well as the government.
Good. And why did you start this company?
Luminary, well, I started Luminary actually in 2016. We started out as a service company. It was a brainstorm between me and my husband. We knew we wanted to start a business and work together. So thinking about our talents, I'm retired Army First Sergeant, so my focus was training my soldiers or training the troops. And my husband had been an executive recruiter since he graduated from college. So he came to I started it myself in June. We had a strategic plan, get this off and running because it was primarily to focus on government contracting.
Right.
My husband has extensive experience in government contracting, although he's never served in the military.
Okay.
But I have the military experience. So combining our talents, and we had a long-term strategic goal for him to stay put in his business until I was ready, or we were ready for him to come on board. And that happened faster than we expected. We thought it would be about 12 to 18 months. And about 6 months later, I was like, I am growing too fast by myself. Because I had secured some commercial business. And I was like, I need you to
quit your job.
Quit your job. Come and make money for the family, for ourselves. And so he came on board about February of 2017. Then fast forward, we had some things happen in our business that required us to quickly pivot, and we went to products. We always knew that we would bring products into company eventually to diversify our revenue, but because of business relationships, that was accelerated. The first opportunity we had was tactical medical, and that's how we landed in the space that we're in. But I believe in divine intervention. God put us in the place where we're supposed to be. It's fun to work with my husband. The business is fun. It's really interesting to him because he's at the beginning we've been doing it for a couple of years, but actually since 2019. So getting exposed to some of the tactical gear that I was already familiar with.
Well, when we did Leadership Tampa Bay and you put that suit, she put that. And it's like, this is this humongous suit. And if you see Valerie, she's small and tiny, but there was this humongous suit that we went in. I really wanted to put it on, but it's like, okay, she got me.
You're talking about the bomb suit. When we did our tour of MacDill.
That was so amazing. And you talk about something so profound, and you said you have many businesses, some succeeded, some other ones still didn't. And share a little bit more about that, because I think people, when they see you, they just see the success. It's like you came in today, I'm going to be a business owner, and I'm successful today. How did that help you kind of become the person that you are now and help you with the business that is successful and that you have now?
Yeah, so being a small business owner in the entrepreneurial ecosystem, we have a saying, fail fast, fail forward, right? The first business I started was a veteran staffing company. I was going through transition, retiring from the Army, and I was very shocked at a lot of my peers, whether they'd been in 6 years or 26 years, were struggling with employment, very fearful of the unknown. How do I find a job? Do my skills translate? What do they translate in? And I was, again, just very shocked at that. And as I was integrating into the veteran community, I had met veterans that had been unemployed for 12, 18, 24 months, and at the highest levels or ranks. So I went home to my husband and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a problem. And I am a first sergeant. I'm a fixer of all things. I've got to come up with a solution to help my comrades find employment post-service. So with the encouragement of a very dear friend, mentor of mine, who had been 10 years ago, so, back then, 25 years in that recruiting and HR industry right here in the Tampa Bay region, she encouraged me to start a staffing company.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I think I can do that. And my differentiator was I was a for-profit company versus a nonprofit.
Right.
There's a lot of nonprofits, and I knew that would be competition for me. But I structured my company like a traditional staffing company. You have a job opening, hire me to fill that job opening. Right. Your company says that you have a veteran hiring initiative. Not only am I going to help you, fulfill that initiative, I'm going to help you find the right veteran for the job. Right. And it's not just putting a veteran in a position because we hope they're going to make it. Right. But it failed miserably for several reasons. One, I was transitioning myself. Just simply wearing dress and heels, that transition from combat boots and camouflage to skirt and heels. I was just like, am I dressed appropriately to just my own struggles with, am I able to communicate with my civilian counterparts that they understand what I'm saying, trying to drop the military jargon. And so that, yes, I was transitioning myself, but then also I had no exposure to how to run a business. Right. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs in my family, my fathers, my uncles, my grandfather. But I just watched them as a child.
Right. It's what I call the institutional knowledge.
Yeah.
Which is some of the things that I always says, a lot of the business owners. So even if you grown up in here, but you didn't have that knowledge, even though you saw your family being entrepreneurs. But when you come from other countries to live the American dream, now you have to figure out how to run your business here. And that's the institutional knowledge that I tell people. You go to schools and sometimes people get a degree on that, but it's different when it's in the live, and you're doing it every single day. So I'm glad. And because of that, is that where your nonprofit organization came along, or?
No, my nonprofit Action Zone, we help veterans and their family members start building, grow their own businesses so they can find economic success through small business ownership. I had went through an entrepreneur certificate program. Okay. I was encouraged by my husband. We were at an event and there was a flyer and it was 12 semester hours in, in entrepreneurship education. And he was like, this would be really good for you because really this is all business 101. Right. So I did that. I did pretty well in the class. And then that same institution called me and said, hey, we have a grant for a veteran entrepreneurship program and was wondering if you'd be interested in being the program manager for that. Oh. And I, had opened my staffing business and been open for a couple of months. And I was like, well, I'm not ready to shut the door on my, close my business. However, if it's part-time, it could be something that I would consider. And it happened to be part-time and it was only for 8 months. All right. And it was at that time, that experience where I really fell in love with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and that space of helping others, start and grow their businesses.
Right.
Especially, it was for veterans, so obviously very close to my heart. And I was, again, now being exposed to veterans that had been trying to or had businesses for a while, and they were just stagnant, or they didn't know how to start. So I just fell in love with that space. And this was in 2015, and even back then, Tampa Bay, their entrepreneurial ecosystem was so rich with resources and support, and it just seemed like everybody was cheering for you. Even I know some companies, bigger companies, they compete for, the same business, and they call themselves frenemies.
Right.
I understand that it's just about business, but they get along really well. So through that experience, I met my co-founder of Action Zone, Rosie Lee.
Okay.
There was another program that started out for veterans, so I took on the new program, and she was my replacement. And we just recognized that we couldn't move as fast as entrepreneurs needed to, or we moved to start, with their businesses. So she was like, "Hey, you want to start a nonprofit?" And I was like, "Hey, let's do it."
Right.
Not knowing what we were getting ourselves into, but again, it was with the intention of being able to support them and get resources to them much faster than through an institution. Not that they were doing great work, but it's just a different environment.
Right.
Now, had we known now what we know, or then what we know now of starting a nonprofit, we might have took pause. Nonprofit, starting a nonprofit is...
Oh yeah, it's a big fish to catch.
It is, because not only are you building the program and delivering the program, you're also raising money, which hard. It's very hard to raise money.
People don't understand the nonprofit aspect. It's a business like everything else. It's just nonprofit. But what is your commodity is that money that is coming in to support the nonprofit.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a business development person going out there promoting your business, marketing that nonprofit is going to make it. It's not going to make it. The founder or the executive director can have all the passion in the world, but passion without money is not going to make it. So that's one of those big things in nonprofits that people don't think about. They have the passion. They know that this is going to help so many people, and it does. But it is, at the end of the day, a business model that you have to make money out of it. And the money and the commodity is those grants or that money that comes in.
When we have founders of nonprofits come through their program, or they haven't even started it, they just come to the program to gain knowledge so that they can launch it. It's like, how are you going to make money? And when I hear, I'm not worried about making money, I'm doing this to help people, I tell them, like, you've already failed, because a nonprofit is the same. It's same as a for-profit business. It's just a separate or different tax designation, but you are in the business of raising money,
right?
Because if you don't raise money, you can't run your program. And Dr. Russ Barnes, who's our director of education, he's also Air Force. He's also an Air Force veteran. He will always tell them, like, if you're not making money in a nonprofit, you're a charity, which is very different. Right. So it's been a lot of work.
So you work with your husband, and now it's kind of more common than it used to be before, where couples work together. How have you been able to manage, okay, this is now the family aspect, this is the business aspect, how do you guys keep your flame going and dividing, this business and stuff like that, and getting along? Because, it is a power couple deal, but now you're practically 24/7 with the same person and business. What, if you can share something with somebody that is starting and perhaps is struggling or thinking about it?
Well, when Jeremy and I first started dating, he has, like I said, had never served, and I had actually never really dated anybody that was not in the military.
Okay.
So I was really fascinated with his work because he was in executive staffing, and the particular company he worked with staffed not nonprofits, accountants and CFOs,
Okay.
controllers, and every business and every industry needs those talents in their business. So he had knowledge of all different industries, and I always ask questions.
Right.
I just thought I was asking questions because I was curious, but also I'm getting to know this guy that I'm dating, not realizing that the questions were coming because not only was I curious and I was getting to know this guy that I was dating, but I was also entrepreneurial. I didn't really get that.
Right.
And then I took a class about entrepreneurial mindset, and then the mindset just clicked.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe I am entrepreneurial. And I always tell people, like, when I'm mentoring folks or, people ask me about being an entrepreneur, I said, if you have an opportunity to take an entrepreneurship course, whether it's 1 day, 1 month, it doesn't matter. Even if it's reading a book about it, do it.
Right.
Because unleashing the entrepreneurial mindset because entrepreneurs are what? They're problem solvers at the very core, right? So if you unleash that entrepreneurial mindset, it's my belief that you will find, or you will recognize problems faster, and you will discover the solution faster.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're entrepreneurial and you're going to go down the path of small business owner. You may go down the path of being an employee, but you're going to be the entrepreneur in the company that's lucky enough to hire you.
Right.
So anyway, back to your original question. One of the things that I probably from my military experience and is appreciating people for their talents. Right. Recognizing it, helping to exploit it, for them so they can be like, oh, I'm really good at that. I didn't even think about it. But really just appreciating what they bring to the table. And with Jeremy and I, we are very opposite in the way we operate. He's very technical, very system process oriented. So that helps with operations. And, our business is very heavily tech, e-commerce. So he understands his swim lane and he stays there. Where I am, the
connector, the vision.
Yeah, I'm the people person. I'm so I do the business development, but I also am a visionary. Right. So I see things that other people may not see, but he has the ability, especially now since we've been working together since 2017, to quickly be like, okay, Valerie's got this idea. He actually created me a folder, Valerie's idea folder on our shared drive. And then he can more quickly now, since we've been working together, see how to get there. Right. And he'll be like, okay, this is going to work. I think this is going to work, so let's do it. Oh, no, this he's like, I don't know if we should try this. So that's been really helpful, that we respect each other's talents and we stay in our swim lanes, as you speak, or as they say. And then I'm so lucky. Right. We have an amazing relationship. We've never been in a fight, business or at home. Right. And I think it's because we found each other older. Right. So you understand each other. Yeah.
And this is so important because Scott and I are the same thing. I'm more of the visionary and he's more of the implementer. And that's understanding the book Rocket Fuel kind of tells you what everybody's traits and Scott is, I call it sometimes, he reigns in my parade. I want to go to a big party, and Scott is thinking about, is it going to be outside? Is it going to be inside? Do we need a caterer? It's like, no, I'm just going to have a party. Like, no, we have to do it this way. So it's just amazing to find that person that you can be yourself with. It is so exhausting to try to be somebody that you're not. So being with somebody that accepts you just for who you are, it's, to me, in my book, is just the greatest experience that you can have. And then working with this person doesn't become a chore or anything, because the reality is you love to be with each other and understanding each other. And now you're creating a dream that is both of you.
Yeah.
Yes. So we need Leadership Tampa Bay, and I know that you're going to be doing some stuff now that you graduated. What again is the committee that you?
Well, I've served on a couple of committees.
Right.
The graduation committee, the Power of Access committee. I can't remember all of them right now. There's like 4 of them.
Right.
The holiday party
Right, holiday
committee.
party,
Yeah, I did a couple of them. This year I'll be leading the graduation committee.
Right.
So
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
And Leadership Tampa Bay is just like, if you, because a lot of people ask me, well, what do you got out of it? Did you get any business? People think that we went in for the business. And I don't think for me it was the business. I wanted to build the relationships. I mean, these are the leaders of the community that are leading big corporations, like they're leading entrepreneurs or mom and pop corporations. It was just building those relationships and getting to know each other. What was your take? Why did you want to go to Leadership Tampa Bay? And now that you graduated and you continue to go back and being involved, why did you do that?
Well, it had been suggested to me in 2015 by Susie Hawley from Hillsborough Community College to consider Leadership Tampa Bay. And then another friend of mine, Barbara, also told me, actually, Barbara is the first one that had the conversation with me, Barbara Clifford. Oh, wait, she got married. But anyway, I was considering Leadership Tampa. And she was like, with everything that you do, I think Leadership Tampa Bay is a better fit for you. But again, this is around 2015, 2016, and life goes on and businesses are, being built and I was like, okay, just not the right time.
Right.
Just not the right time. And then I just was like, okay, the community really connects me with my nonprofit.
Right.
That's when they see Valerie or they talk about Valerie, it's Valerie in Action Zone.
Right.
But that fills my cup. However, Luminary fills my bank account.
Right.
And I wanted to have a breakout moment, if you will, as Valerie, the CEO and founder of Luminary.
Right.
And have that exposure. And so that's pretty much why I was like, okay, you need to quit saying every year, next year.
Right.
So I took a chance. I threw my name in the hat, and I was pleasantly surprised to have been selected because, again, like you were saying, small business owner and presidents and of foundations and larger businesses.
Right.
But I think that the Leadership Tampa Bay board, in the selection committee does a really good job in ensuring a diverse cohort so that we can all gain something from each other,
right?
And get exposed to different aspects of careers and industries. And for me, because I spent nearly 22 years in the Army, and my whole focus was, soldiering and training and war, and all those things. I really didn't have a good idea or concept what was going on outside of the gate.
Right.
I mean, I lived out in the community, enjoyed the community, but didn't really get into the nitty gritty on how this community worked.
Right.
Who's making it work.
Right.
So that exposure and that knowledge and experience of Leadership Tampa Bay and learning, not just Hillsborough County and Tampa, but Pinellas, Pasco, Polk. It was
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, which, it was just an amazing experience. I highly recommend it. Any kind of leadership opportunity like that or program like that, I recommend. It just opens your mind and you start connecting dots outside of your little sphere you've created.
Yeah. And for me, kind of like you, it was like, it has been suggested and it took 5 years, but my class was my class, my perfect class, the people, my siblings, and we still, we get together, and every time we get together, it's a little bit different. You see everybody else again, but you still have those connections of a lifetime that you know that if you need something, you can call me and I'm going to support you. I'm going to find out how I can help you out. So yes, again, like Valerie, there's the regional, which is Leadership Tampa Bay, which is all areas, but then there's Leadership Hillsborough, there's Leadership Pasco, there's Leadership Tampa. So, and there's Leadership Florida. Some of our friends from other classes now are going through Leadership Florida. But again, you know, as business owners, I call it leaders with a servant heart, because we are leaders. We are influencers in our sphere. So grow where we plant it. And it's our responsibility to be able to have that knowledge or that wanting to serve and love on others and understanding what their needs are, so we can connect them with resources that we come exposed to because of our influence and because of our leadership. Yeah. So thank you again. I mean, I love Leadership Tampa Bay. A little bit, tell me about, you recently got your nomination with the Tampa Bay, Business Journal.
Tampa Bay Business and Wealth. Win.
Yes. So you had a recognition. Tell me a little bit about that process and how you got nominated and who got, there were amazing women. How many were at class?
I think there were over 50 finalists.
Right. And I have 4 or 5 from our class.
Yes. Leadership Tampa Bay had, I think 5 finalists. Yeah. So
and all of them were the Leadership Tampa Bay class of 2023, best class.
Yeah. So what I really appreciate about Tampa Bay Business and Wealth is it's not a pay to play thing. Like, you don't have to have a subscription to the magazine to be nominated, or to be recognized and nominated for what you do in the community and in your profession. So I think that being nominated for one of their awards has that unique aspect to it, that people are nominating the people that they see making a difference, and moving the needle. So many times people don't know who nominated them.
Right.
I didn't know.
Okay.
However, when I nominate somebody for any award, I always tell them, because I want them to know I see you and I see how hard you're working and the commitment you have, not only in your profession, but to the community. So I don't hide it.
Right. But maybe I had to kind of say this to you, because don't take me wrong, but I'm like, she already knows what I do. And when I share with you to nominate for another event, that you nominate me and you nominate me for this event too, I don't get to win everything either, and I'm okay with it. I want to support my friends. But I thought, like, I think she will know. And I was a little bit taken back. But now I understand just with what you say. I want you to know that I see you. And to me, it was like, did I not do a good job promoting what I do?
Yeah.
So when I put my flip my thinking, it's like, oh no, now I totally understand why you were asking. You wanted me to know that you see me, that you see what I do. So I really appreciate it. And actually, for that nomination, now I use the little thing that you share with me, which says, hey, for the future, if you want to nominate, here's this. Yeah. I share it with others. He says, you want to know, just in case, this is some bullet points. And that comes from you understanding how to get grants. So, how to work that part of your business and your background, right? To me, I have not gone to, the awards that I have received have not been something that I need to have a nomination. It's being, I guess, nominated for somebody else, but kind of put my work together. It was new. I learned it with you, and I really want to recognize you and thank you for it, because now I have something that I can use for future nominations.
Well, and when I do nominate somebody and I'm responsible for writing the nomination packet, I do ask, what do you do? Mm-hmm. Because I am looking, so I see you and I see all the things that you do, but doesn't mean I know all the intricacies of your business.
Right.
Your community service. and most importantly, the challenges and struggles that you've had to get to where you are.
Right.
And like you said before, sometimes people see you and they think you're, you got it all, but it's like, what do they have that saying where you're a duck on water and you're underneath the water? Like this. Yeah, I mean, the journey of how we get to where we are now, and the journey's not over.
Right.
We're still going to have challenges. That's the part that people really need to know.
Right.
So when they are having a moment, in their own journey, they'll remember that they read Rosie's nomination.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, okay, Rosie's got it together, but it hasn't always been like that.
Right. And that's I think, as that leadership with a servant heart, right? Giving back to the community, because people see the now, but they don't see the 20 years. It's like in my Medicare business. And one of the reasons why now I talk about that, because a lot of people were very confused. Like Rosie Paulson Enterprises is my heart when it comes to entrepreneur and making sure entrepreneurs succeed, right? With their mindset. Hello, Nyeke. The mindset to get what you want. What do you do every single day to make you successful? That's Rosie Paulson Enterprises. And that's my good feel business. But then SNR Services, which is my Medicare business, people were saying, oh, I thought you don't do Medicare anymore. And it's like, okay, what am I doing? There's no connection. I have to really work on this. And not only that, I wanted people to also know that I do Medicare, but now that I help other Medicare agents be successful business owners, because at the end of the day, they are owners of their own company, and they can come through me and learn from my 20 years of experience of doing the same. And now I just duplicated myself, which is some of the things as a business owners, you wish you can be in two places at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
That's not happening. That's never going to happen. But the best thing is try to, I call it, clone myself with my agents, my partner agents, however, keep their authenticity. Because one thing is my knowledge. Yeah, I can help them. Is it an HMO? Is it a PPO? Whatever. But it's like, you are a servant leader. You're not there to sell. You're there to understand that person need. And now I want you to connect them with that need and provide that relief that they are looking for. Now, once that relief is that need is met, they're not thinking about it. Now you can say, okay, let's talk about your Medicare option. And educate, because all we do is educate others and that build the relationships. Because at the end of the day is that relationship building. So to kind of wrap it all up, if you can give somebody, if you can tell your younger Valerie self, hey, this is one thing that you should know, that you should do or not do, what would you tell her?
Well, the first is what I mentor other people, or I tell other folks is, take the entrepreneur course. Like, unleash that entrepreneurial mindset. We all have it. It's just whether we're applying it to a small business or our job. And then the other would be, change is inevitable. Failure is inevitable. It's just how you posture yourself during and after the change or the failure. Will help you learn from those lessons.
Right.
I remember one time when I was in high school, I did a beauty pageant, and it's a really small town. I think I might have just still been in junior high, but anyway, one of the questions was, and I still remember this because one of the judges approached me about it afterwards. He said, and it was my only one. That was my only one. Yeah. But what do you think about failure? And I was like, I don't mind failing. Even at that young age, I was like, because I feel like I learn more from when I fail than I do getting an A in class.
Right.
I rarely got an A in class. But so throughout my life, or the judge came to me afterward, and she was just like, that was incredible. Right. At your age, recognizing that, and she was like, you're going to go far. And I was like, well, I'm not very academic, so I'm going to go in the Army. And, that was my relief from having to study, which really wasn't that much. But anyway, yes, it's unleash your entrepreneurial mindset. Change and failure is inevitable.
Right.
And you know, if you let your mind be open to that and know that it's going to happen, like everything will eventually fall into place.
Yeah, and that brings me to kind of close this chapter, but with the slight edge, which it says, there's a sentence in there that says, successful people fail their way to the top. And failure is part of succeeding in your business. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to change. If you fall, you will learn from that. What you get out of it and how to change it is the most important thing. Thank you so much, Valerie, for visiting us today. But my friends, remember, tenacity is a superpower, and owning a business is not for a faint of heart, it's for courageous people. And it is persistent, persevere, pivoting, finding the purpose, live your best life. Don't just exist, live your best life. So stay pure, stay positive, and stay inspired. Ciao.